Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is Project Gladio is here. Take just a minute and look at that. That is a picture of what we are seeing in our streets right now. I'm talking about protest. I'm talking about people that don't like a Christian nation and they want to see it change. I got this email today and it comes from Jason Meeks. Now, you recognize that name. He has had several other, I think, dreams that I put on the program. One of the most important ones we've had, talking about when there's celebration in the streets is when the suitcase nukes goes off. But here's what he says in the email. Again, I got this morning. He says, I woke up at 3:30 this morning and I heard in my spirit, Project Gladio is here. The chickens have come home to roost. Now, hang on, before we go any further, what's he talking about? I think he is being warned. The same thing we were warned last week through You Be Ready that says the show has begun. The same thing others have been trying to warn us. It's almost like how many different times, how many different ways can God try to tell his people that the end is really, really here and that the internal revolution is really, really starting and the things that he's been warning us about for many, many years are really, really all starting. How many different ways can he say it? This is the newest way. So the article or the email goes on to say, if you're not familiar with the Project Gladio, and I wasn't, it was a resistance movement during World War II, formed by England and continued by America after and during the Cold War. It was a spy network that engaged in sabotage, false flag, and psychological warfare. Now, hang on. What? I think it's warning us that the resistance to Donald Trump, the resistance to Christians taking back their nation, is about to go to a new level. Essentially, that's what it's saying. Engaged in sabotage. Okay, now what's sabotage? Well, it's basically throwing a wrench in the works. It's fine until somebody throws a wrench in the works. And this society that we live in, that we love so much, is society, but it's a very delicate society. And there are many, many ways someone could destroy it and throw a wrench into the works, okay? Sand into the gears. It was a spy network that engaged in sabotage, false flag, and psychological warfare. I believe this were from the Lord, and I think it is too. It came out of nowhere. I was not dreaming about it. I'm going to take it seriously and prepare my family. Just wanted to share with you. God bless Jason Meeks. So, we got to confirm it. So, as you can see, I went to Google. I searched Project Gladio. What it came up with is Operation Gladio. Okay, what does it say? Operation Gladio was the code name for clandestine stay-behind operations of armed, catch that word, armed resistance that were organized by the Western Union, founded in 1948. Skip on down. What does Gladio mean? It's an Italian word derived from the Latin gladius, or sword. It was made part of the paramilitary stay-behind secret organization of NATO and the CIA and the British MI6 during the Cold War. Skip down to the bottom, Operation Gladio. He was the first to formally reveal the European-wide network of stay-behind groups organized during the Cold War. What's it saying? Basically, it's saying that the guys, the evil people in high places with lots of money, lots of power, lots of planning, they're not stupid. These are extremely smart, evil people that do not like Donald Trump. They do not like Jesus. And mostly, they do not like Christians. They do not like this Christian nation. They do not like to see Christians take back their nation, as has just happened. And they are mad. They are furious. They're angry outside of their mind. And that's so hard for us Christians to understand. It's just like we can't understand why anyone would be a Democrat, okay? We can't understand why anyone would not want millions of dollars that have been stolen from our government to be discovered and stopped. We can't understand why a plane load of 261 evil rapists and murderers and killers would not want to be going out of our nation. We can't understand that. But to them, They think we're the nut jobs. They think we're crazy. We have a hole in their head. Now, let's go on. Let me make a point here. So I looked up revolution. I looked this up several times, but this was an interesting definition. A revolution is a significant and often rapid change in political, social, or economic structures. Hang on. Stop everything. Is that not what has happened since January the 20th? Have we not seen a rapid change in political, social, and economic structures? Look at the tariffs. Is that economic structures? It is. Social, all of the executive orders, political, firing a lot of people, going and have we not seen that? Now, see, by this definition, an internal revolution could be one that moves a bad society back up to a good society, or it also can be a bad society way over here that got kicked out of power, that doesn't like being out of power, and is going to come back and try to kick the good guys out. Now let's go on. A revolution is a significant and often rapid change in political, social, economic structures of society, typically involving the overthrow, here it is, overthrow of a government or a system. It can also refer to a major shift in technology. What? You mean like Elon Musk and what he's doing with X, and now he's bought X1 and he's got this, what's the name of it? Not Chat GPT. There's another AI name for it. Anyway, it can also refer to a major shift in technology or ideas that transforms how people will live or work. Boom. Are we not there? Are we not in the middle of this? I think you got to say yes. Let's go on. Now, this is my interpretation of what Gladio is. In the past, America has seen shootings. Yes, we have. I'm talking about where they go in and shoot up 17 people in a church. Okay? November the 5th of what, 5 years ago or so. Car attacks. In other words, they get in a car and they run over and kill as many people as they can. Burning buildings, burning Teslas, scratching Teslas, pulling Tesla drivers over and beating the woman, okay? That's small stuff. That's small time. That's not what Gladio is. Let me show you what Gladio is, my interpretation, my understanding. This is what I think we're soon to see. I think we're going to see an organization level. Now, what am I talking about? Do you remember 2 years ago, we got a report, I put on the program, that these people coming over our southern border were given cell phones. Do you remember that? And do you also remember that some of those cell phones that were given were encrypted? Whoa, you mean like Signal? No, Signal is an app. An encrypted cell phone means nobody can interrupt that thing at any time. In other words, it is like top secret stuff. Why would you give people coming over our southern border an encrypted cell phone? And the scuttlebutt is they were told to take this encrypted cell phone, and at the right time they were told that they would report for training and that their families would be taken care of if they would be willing to do what they were told to do. What would they be told to do? Things that would probably put their life in jeopardy, and their families would be taken care of. Now, does that sound like what Moloch and Baal? Does that sound like what the Illuminati? Does that sound like what the Khazarian Mafia, the deep state, would do? Oh, yeah. Yes, it does. Okay, specifically, an organization that we can't, we have to work at to get. But this is evil organization. And see, since they don't have a God running them like we do, that can see all things past, present, future, they have to be more organized than us Christians. Us Christians typically are not very organized. If God does not tell us what to do, get us in the right place at the right time, we blow it, okay? These people are organized at a level we can't understand. It reminds me of Augusto Perez. He said, I was taken in a vision and I was allowed to see in a meeting. And he said, I saw these people and they had a big book. And I was allowed to flip through this book. And they had every day for the next 50 years planned out every day what they're going to do for the next 50 years. He says, I was stunned by such organization, such planning. It was so far beyond what the human mind could come up with. And yet, they have a plan. Now, they don't get upset if they don't hit those goals, but they don't remove the goals. They just slide it. Like, for example, they had thought that they would be in their new world order by the year 2000. Well, they didn't make it, but they didn't cry about it. They didn't stop. They're still working for it today, 25 years later. Now, let's go on. We're about to see organized blowing up electrical generations, dams. In other words, it's not just blowing up the dam, not just letting the water go down and flood and kill millions of. I mean, look at the Hoover Dam. Look at the Grand Coulee Dam. What if one of the, Stan, those are too big to blow up, are they? Or are they too big to blow up with current conventional weapons? But what if they have a suitcase nuke? Electrical transmission, there's that. I looked this up several years ago into the program. There's only 9 of them. And if you blow up the right of the 9 electrical transmission links, I guess you'd call them, blow up the right one, and the whole nation goes black. No electricity. Blowing up airport communications. In other words, the ones that tells the planes when it's clear to land, when it's clear to take off. What if they blow up those communications? No, none of the airplanes can fly. Would that cause a problem in America? Oh, you better know it. Do you know, it comes to mind that there's 6,000 flights a day, and that might be wrong. It might be higher than that. But think about that. 6,000, the average plane load has what, probably 300 people to it? That's a couple of million people that thought they were going to move that didn't. Blowing up airport comms, major bridges, like Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, we saw the one just recently where a boat ran into it, causes the problems that caused. Nuclear electrical plants, coal electrical generation plants. So without electricity, our society today stops. Take you, for example. If you can't have electricity, if your computer does not work, would you be out of a job? How many people would? How many people work from home? How many people depend on electricity to have their computers work, their cell phones work? In other words, American society stops without electricity. Okay, I mean, just like right now, they say that only 8,000 people can retire from the United States government every year because it's all done by paperwork. They roll down the pallets, take it down into Iron Mountain under the ground, and they say that it's antiquated. Well, it is antiquated. They're in the process of making it all digital. But see, if it's not digital, if it's paper and the electricity goes out, you still got it. But if it is digital, like just about everything is, electricity goes out and all stops. Releasing poisons. By the way, all of this is found in various prophecies. Releasing poisons into city water. Okay, so when do you find out that the city water has poison? Well, hopefully you hear about it on the news. We don't get newspapers anymore. We might get it on our cell phone. My wife gets more notices on her cell phone than I do. Releasing poison into city water. Roving. We hadn't heard of this. Roving gangs of armies. We're not talking about 2 or 3 or 4. We're not talking about 5 or 10. What happens if they have 50 people in a gang that hit a rich neighborhood in the night, all at the same time, and people are killed, raped, diamonds, gold, silver, things of value are all gone, and then they're gone in the night? I'm only saying that's Gladio. In other words, what can we do to destroy and disrupt a society? That's Gladio. That's what he's saying. Gladio has started. Now, this has been prophesied all the way back to August 3rd, 1984, when the angel came to Dmitri, said the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people, you listen, this is it. This is the prophecy that's going to fill sports stadiums. One day, here it is, this is it. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government would be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and two other countries will attack and defeat America, and America will burn. Now, in my opinion, this is the way I think it'll work, based upon the information up at this point. This is a guess. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, overthrowing the Trump administration started by the communists. Some of the people, Democrats, illegal aliens, drug pushers, insane criminals, Biden let in over the southern-northern border. The government will be busy with their internal problems. What? From this, from this, from this, from this. See? Gladio. That's what we're talking about. Gladio, Gladio. So he's saying the chickens have come home to roost. Gladio. That's what he's saying. Now, is he the only one saying this? No. What causes the internal revolution? Remember I showed you this? This is showing you that 484,461 sealed indictments have been filed. This is current. This is last week. Now, a sealed indictment is an arrest warrant. This person is to be arrested, tried, and hopefully convicted. But it's not necessarily a one-on-one. It always means that at least one person has done something wrong. But a sealed indictment could be one indictment for hundreds of people. This could mean some 1 million people are arrested. So what do you think is going to happen when the massive arrests really start? The people that don't get arrested, that get away, are furious. And they will do anything to destroy this nation that has destroyed their buddies. Okay? Remember this? April 2, 2021. I saw an armored battalion of tanks, Humvees, roof-mounted machine guns, armored personnel carriers with cannons go to the Capitol, Supreme Court, and the White House. Now, we'd like to think there's not too many people in the White House to be arrested, but, the devil has people in all kinds of places. Army personnel disarmed all Secret Servicemen, guards, police guarding the buildings. Then personnel went in, took all of the evidence. He saw a military takeover, temporary control of the nation to arrest the evildoers. That can happen any day now. In a way, what Doge is doing is discovering the dirty deeds so that he can arrest more people once they start the arrests. Okay? Now, this is from today, April 5th. On April 5th, it says every left-wing group in the nation is planning massive protests nationwide for April 5th. Everyone needs to be monitoring in their area and the protests that are planned. Look at this. This is one of the flyers. It's not just a joke. Okay, these people are furious. They're angry out of their gourd. 50 protests in 50 states, all one movement. When? This Saturday. Remove, reverse, reclaim. Remove corrupt politicians from office, in other words, Donald Trump. Reverse the damage, reclaim our democracy. Well, first of all, we're not a democracy. We're a republic. To the republic for which he stands, okay? So, April 5th. Could it be the internal revolution gets started April 5th? I don't want to think so. I want to think we got more time, but I can't say absolutely not. I can't say that. Nationwide protests and sit-ins in all 50 states. This is what they're... Oh, and there's more. Look at this. These nationwide protests, with the largest being in D.C., planned for April 5th, and it's a joint effort between 501. What's 501? This is what it is. 50 protests, see at the top left corner? 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. 501, indivisible. Women's March, political revolution, dozens of others, maybe hundreds. Remove, reverse, reclaim, hands off, veto, Project 2025, and, of course, they're defending democracy. But we're not a democracy. We're a republic. They're protesting everything from Doge, LGBTQ, women's rights, Tesla, Palestine, Free Mohammed, Khalil, Trump, Project 25. They're mobilizing in every state across the country. What do you call it? What do you call it? Dmitry was told this August 3rd, 1984. If it's not here, it's close. There's more. So Trump threatens. Let's take a look at some of his threats. Iran, if you don't make a deal, there's going to be trouble. You're going to be hit with bombs, basically. that you've never seen before. He's also, just in the last 2 days, threatened Putin of Russia, saying if he doesn't make a deal, you know what I'm saying? There's threats. He's threatened Denmark. Denmark is not being cooperative in releasing Greenland to Trump. Trump says it's a done deal about Greenland, but Denmark says it's a no-go deal. Then we're talking about Panama. Panama is angry and doesn't like Trump proposals. Then there's Musk. Musk has discovered the devil's dirty work in many of these government organizations. He's laid off around 1 million people, angry people burning Tesla dealerships, Tesla stock falling, and the list goes on and on. I haven't even listed all of it, but I want to back up and I want to show you something. We covered this about 3 weeks ago. Now, I'm going to do the summarized version, and then I'm going to read if I have time here, the detailed version, because this is what's happening. You put Gladio and this together, and they do this. They're matching, okay? Summarized version says, this is by UB Radio 3/3/2025. Vision. Today, while in prayer, I heard the Lord speak these words to me. The show has begun. I heard a carnival barker shouting, ladies and gentlemen, come one and come all to see the greatest show on earth, meaning the end-time show between the devil and Jesus has started. There wasn't an empty seat in the house. All seats were filled. I think that's saying that there's no rapture yet. Everybody gets to get tested. There were 3 rings, a large ring in the center, clowns amusing the crowd. This is the summarized version. I'll tell you what, let's just go to the detailed version. While in prayer, I heard the Lord say, the show has begun. I was given a vision where I found myself outside of a huge circus tent. I started walking towards the open doorway. I heard a carnival barker, I believe was Jesus, who was shouting loudly through the megaphone, ladies and gentlemen, come one, come all, get your seats. Now is the greatest show on earth. Then I found myself standing inside a giant tent. As the last few people entered in, I looked around and noticed that there wasn't an empty seat in the house. Everybody gets to get tested. I looked towards the center of the tent, observed 3 rings. A large ring in the center with 2 smaller rings on each side. In the smaller ring on the left, well, what would you expect to be on the left? There were a dozen or so clowns jumping, dancing, hopping around, doing silly things, keeping the crowd amused and laughing. And that's the people that are keeping the, mostly Americans, amused so that they won't get so upset as their nation is taken away. In the small ring on the right side, there were animal acts, a bear, or Russia, riding a red bicycle around in circles, and a large leopard. Well, we know the bear is Russia, and we know the leopard is the Muslims. And almost all of the prophecies say that at the end time, it's the Russians and the Muslims that come down to attack Israel. So this fits prophecy perfectly. Cat jumping on various size crates, large colorful parrot. Now, parrot, what is parrot? It repeats, okay? Did we not see this? I mean, people, remember, did you see the clip about the white lady that was attacking a black man that had on a MAGA hat? And she just kept attacking him verbally, and finally the doors opened. He ran out the doors. She went chasing him, and he outran her, and she fell right on her face. And the whole time she was calling racist, racist. And the guy says, I'm black. How can I be a racist? What are they doing? They're just a parrot. They just repeat what they hear CNN and MSNBC and ABC and the other one. They just repeat what they don't know. So they just repeat what they've heard. That's the parrot. In a large main center ring was a man who appeared to be a ringmaster. That would be Jesus, angel, dressed in a very nice tuxedo with a top hat on his head. And I observed this man walk to a very ornate desk in the center of the ring, take a seat behind the desk. Then he pulled out a book out of his pocket. It was the U.S. Constitution. This is at least the second, but I think it's the 3rd prophecy we have that says the Constitution is going away. On the desk was a computer with 3 months arranged in a semicircle around the computer. The ringmaster seemed to get very upset while reading the book, and then he started angrily ripping pages out of the Constitution, setting them on fire, meaning America tosses the Constitution out, or evil people within America. With that, the clowns noticed the fire and came running over to put out the fire with a water hose. But instead of water coming out, gasoline came out, setting the fire to go worse. In other words, the Constitution is gone. It's gone. I don't like, I feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap saying that. I mean, because to a lot of Americans, the Constitution is more important to the Bible. Now, we Christians know that's not true, but it's pretty important, and it's going bye-bye. Then the bear from the ring on the right quickly ran over and knocked the book out of the ringmaster's hand. The book hit the floor, landing on the floor facing up, so I could see the title was written on it was Constitution of the United States of America. All the people in the audience clapped, laughed, cheered, and thinking it was all part of the show. In other words, Trump becoming king is part of the plan. So what it's saying is that the all-capital United States of America Government Corporation is gone. And what they're bringing in is a new Republic of the United States. We know the name of it. We know what the flag looks like. We don't know what the new Constitution will be like, or if there will be a Constitution. Because Henry Gruver, and who's Henry Gruver? Well, in my opinion, it's the King James Bible. Second behind that is Dimitri Duduman. Third behind that is Henry Gruver. Henry Gruver was shown that Trump would return. That part of the prophecy came to pass. And he was shown this back in 2019 or something like that. Anyway, he would return as a king. Well, kings don't have constitutions. Like Nebuchadnezzar, whom he lifted up. Whom he would, he slew. Whom he would, he kept alive. Whom he would, he put down. My attention was drawn to the monitors that were on the desk. I noticed one monitor showing scenes of war, another one displaying bombs exploding and fires burning. On the third one, there were people running for their lives and the destruction, meaning all of this is heading up to a big destruction. The ringmaster got up out of the chair slowly, grabbed one of the baseball bats and began that had been left by the clowns, and he struck each monitor with the bat, destroying them one by one. In other words, this world is all going to be destroyed. Then the whole tent went completely back. That's when the sun goes out, 72 hours before Jesus returns. And then a blinding light. What's that? That's the morning star. When Jesus returns on the white horse with us in tow, and he uses the morning star, and it burns up all of this earth. It burns the sun, moon, and stars, dissolve like smoke in a moment, and the twinkling of an eye at the last or the seventh trump. Blinding light exploded through the darkness from above, filling the whole tent with a solid beam of light, coming down from the center of the top of the tent. The beam of the light hit the floor. A form suddenly appeared. It looked like a man about 10 foot tall with outstretched wings, extending at least 10 feet on each side. This being was a mighty angel, full clad in heavily armor, glowing, glistening, reflecting, and radiating light in all directions. As the light from him hit the faces of the people in the audience, I saw fear and shock on each and every face. What is this? This is the return of Jesus. With power and authority, of Jesus Christ, I tell you now, the show has begun and my time is